Okay, we are live, and just want to test one thing. Test. And wait for a couple of new users. If you can join, definitely let me know. Might be wrong with the chat. Okay, might be an issue with the chat room, so let me see if I can fix that. Test. Should be. Okay, so there is a problem with the chat room. I'm going to try and fix it, and then we'll get working on it. Fix it now. Alright, that kind of stinks. I'm not exactly sure what is wrong, but we will try to fix it. It's unfortunate because we have a lot to talk about, so I'm not sure what is wrong.
Remember you have to talk this morning?
What?
Aren't you talking to what you said guy the other one about?
Yeah.
Chat?
Yeah, I'm not sure why it's not working now. It's working beforehand. Filters. Okay. I'm going to try and reset it. Let's see. Test. I do apologize. I'm not sure exactly what is wrong right now. Login is an issue. Message. Yeah, I don't think it's your browser. I think that it's something with the website, something with the chat itself. That it's not able to work for some reason. Working on it. We might have to reschedule for, I don't know. Boy, that's a bummer.
You can always try tomorrow.
Yeah, but the weather events right now, unfortunately, that is disappointing. That is very disappointing. Okay, so I have an idea. It's a crazy idea, but it's an idea. Okay. So, okay. I have an idea. Give me a second. Where there's a will, there's a way. I have a will to make it way. Or something. I don't know. Right. Because we got the video stuff, right? Right. Okay, you can see me, hear me, can't type in chat. Okay, good. I got a solution here. Let's see if this works. I will find a way around this. Haha, okay. We're going to live chat. Test. Okay. We'll see if this works. Please go to this YouTube channel to get this rocking. Invite your friends for a free chat. Since I screwed up, something screwed up, so I'm going to post that. And hopefully you guys can see that. Up top. Okay, you see that link up here? Actually, you know what? I'm an idiot. Let me fix this. Go here. There we go. Hopefully it works sooner or later. Okay, good. So yeah, there we go. Sometimes you just have to adjust on the fly. So we'll extend the chat room tonight, and hopefully that will work. So yeah, let everyone know. And hopefully that will solve the issue. And that'll be the way to solve it. So everyone see me? Everything good? Okay, so hopefully that solves the issue. I don't know how many people are going to be here, but that will be the solution we'll follow. And hopefully that will solve. Please go to YouTube channel, invite your friends for a free chat, go here. Okay, hopefully, pass along the word, let everyone know. I don't know, maybe I should make this black, that way everyone sees it. Black, and then we'll go there. So just give me a second. I'm just trying to fix this. Chat room is down. Please go to the link below to have tonight's chat. Perfect. So sometimes you just got to adjust and do your thing. You know what I mean? So here we go. There, that's got to stand out. And hopefully we'll have a week to fix that issue. So away we go. Okay. So good evening, everyone. Let me just move this over here. So that was fun. All right. now we're just going to compose ourselves and let's talk about some of the events here. We'll extend it a little bit further. That way everyone can catch on. So definitely spread the word. In fact, I'm going to the normal premium chat room is down. So everyone benefits free chat here. And I'll put, it would be helpful if let's see here, and then we'll get going. The normal premium chat room is down. So everyone benefits, and then we'll get talking, and because we have a lot to talk about, a lot to cover. Trying this free premium video discussion. Boom. There we go. So now let's boy, oh boy. Alrighty then. So I guess let's go and dive into a lot of work here, because we got a lot to cover, and we wasted about 20 minutes, but that's okay. We're going to extend it to 8:20, and because we have a lot to cover here. So we have obviously our storm on the way. Hello, Billy Bob. We see it. Okay, so we start off with, here's our storm that is approaching. And really, it's a winter storm for southern New Jersey. Let's be honest about this. Down towards Cape May, you could definitely see we are definitely cold enough, just enough for our snowfall to set up here. And one of the reasons why I made the adjustment I did was based on what I'm seeing here with the frontal genesis, especially showing up at 850 millibars here. When I started to see this getting a little bit further north, that's when I was like, okay, it's time to make adjustments with this forecast based on what we are seeing here. Okay, you never go just based on, oh well, the models change. Okay, but that's all cute and all, but the key point here is, what do the observations say? And the observations say this is coming north. So when I took a look at that, and I took a look at the 700 millibar frontal genesis, all of this was suggesting that your lifting was getting a little bit further north towards about central New Jersey, Trenton on south through the Delmarva Peninsula. And so as a result, that's why I made the adjustments I did. Now, this is not a major winter storm. It's just the fact that it's occurring. Hello, everyone. Hey, boss. Oh, good. Everyone's coming in. That's outstanding. Good. I am glad you guys are able to do that. That is good to see. Okay. Where was I? Okay. Wow, this is really filling up now. Okay, good deal. All right. The reason why I made this adjustment was based on three things. One, the frontal genesis. Two, the temperatures are going to be cold enough. And three, what I was seeing, it would be helpful if I was going right to it. Here it is. The lifting here that I'm seeing, the cold cloud tops that are showing up here in the Ohio River Valley. The idea originally was for this to end up further to the south, down here. But in reality, what we ended up with was basically this whole setup pushing up towards Pittsburgh. So when I saw this, I'm like, okay, so we have the lifting, we have everything set up here just to support a pretty good moderate snowfall for southern New Jersey. And then you combine that with what we're seeing here at, let's see, let's go to 700 millibars. And then I saw this start to creep up here for tonight. So this Genesis, all of this here points to the potential for a light to moderate snowfall from New York City to Philadelphia, and from Philadelphia south, a moderate to heavy snowfall. So you have the snowfall ratios around 10-1. You have your QPF increasing. Everything here is basically coming together to support the potential for that snowfall. And so that's why I made the adjustments I did. Now, the next thing that I want to talk about, and then I'll take your questions and we'll answer them all, is what is happening for this weekend. I am very concerned about the precipitation situation for this upcoming weekend. So the setup for this upcoming weekend, let me pull this up. And I'm trying to not speed ahead too much. But you see, when I saw this showing up in the guidance, I nearly fell off my seat. Okay, now this is a situation here that I'm very concerned about. Now, initially, when I saw this, I was like, okay, probably the models are overdoing this, right? So what you want to do is first take a look at your mid-level temperatures and see what is going on around here. So we'll go to 850 millibars, and we're far enough out so that we could see this event. And the event for Saturday night into Sunday morning is such that the 850 millibar temperatures are warming. Okay, this could certainly set up rain. Okay. So then we go to 925 millibars. And in this situation, it's a little bit colder. Sleet. Then we really went for the kill. What are the surface temperatures? So we go to surface temperatures, and let's see here. There we go. Perfect. Now, these surface temperatures, if you're seeing at 850 millibars, 925 millibars, should rise above freezing, right? Well, not exactly. Get to those temperatures. Come on. You could do it. Of course, tonight, pretty much a glitch, almost everything for tonight. So we want to get this to load, and eventually it will, because I'm going to force it to basically load. And there we go. So Saturday night into Sunday morning, I saw this. This is bad news. The worst thing you could have in a winter storm is not snow, it's not rain, it's ice. And when you have 850 millibar temperatures well above freezing, and then you got those temperatures in the 20s with rain, yeah, that's not good. This is a very strong signal for an ice storm. Now, we have a couple of days to get this to work out. And hopefully either goes to snow or it goes to all rain. Because we do not want this to show up in our forecast. Because if this shows up, it is going to be ugly. Very, very ugly in this situation. Okay? So, I'll walk you through it again. Because I want this to be very clear where we are in the forecast here. So we'll start off with tonight, because all of this streams together. And then we're going to talk about the long range solar activity. We're going to talk about all that. So we have our snowfall coming through tonight. We have confidence that the light to moderate snowfall is going to be coming further north based on where we're seeing the cold cloud tops and also where we're seeing the frontogenesis. That's all you're lifting. You have your moisture, which you can see here with the water vapor satellite picture right here, all streaming in. So that's going to support a nice little snowfall. And as a result, when we take a look at our model guidance, and pull this up real fast, let's take a look at the HRR guidance, which is your short range guidance. And we'll use this. Or you could use the NAM, but let's use the HRR, see what fun that will be. So you can see our snowfall comes in. The moderate band sets up here down from about Monmouth County down to around Cape May County. And the reason why we have that band set up and intensified is because of the strong thermal gradient, 850 millibars in this scenario. So what this basically sets up is very strong frontogenesis, and don't be surprised somewhere around, say southern, let's say right around Atlantic City, that you see a very heavy burst of snow. So that first comes through, and that supports this forecast where you got 1 to 3 inches of light snow for the New York City Metro through the northern suburbs of Philadelphia, central Jersey, 3 to 6 inches around the Philadelphia Metro, 4 to 8 inches down towards southern New Jersey. That sets up a very, very cold boundary layer ahead of our next storm. Remember what I said last week? One storm feeds into the other. So this whole setup produces a cold boundary layer, and that brings us to our next storm. Now our next storm, which we can look at right here. So we'll start off at 500 millibar PVA. In this setup, if we can get it to load, there we go. In this setup, we have strong PVA coming up on Saturday evening into Sunday. Now, this is not a strong storm. This is a weak storm, not a lot of precipitation, but enough to cause some problems. Okay, this is a situation where clearly it is an isotropic lifting event. In other words, warm air is trying to evade northward, and that's why during that same time period, go to 84 hours, you have this signal showing up. At 700 millibars, when you have this signal showing up, that is strong frontogenesis, strong lifting. Okay? So you have the strong lifting. In terms of precipitable water values, this tells you how much moisture is in the atmosphere. See, in this scenario, you have enough moisture to support around 0.7 to almost 1 inch QPF. That's the precipitable water in the atmosphere. That's quite a bit for the winter. So you have the moisture to work with. Now comes the tricky part, the temperatures. And remember that cold boundary layer that I just mentioned with the snow, a fresh snowpack, cold air is built in there. We know we have plenty of cold air in place. And you have this warm air trying to invade northward. So that by Saturday afternoon, those 850 millibar temperatures along the coast here are rising above freezing. The interior is all snow. And it's a light snow. Because remember, the lifting isn't all that strong. But you've seen this And then you see 925 millibars is another portion of the atmosphere. And again, just cold enough to support sleet and maybe some freezing rain. But this isn't tremendously cold. Again, cold enough for all snow over the interior. But then when we take a look at our surface temperatures, this is where things get very, very dangerous. Because in that same time period, we have this. Well below freezing temperatures. Now, if we go to, let's see here, that's at the 12Z. Let's take a look at the 18Z data. And it's trending colder. Why is it trending colder? Because the model guidance starts to pick up the reality that, hey, we actually might have a colder boundary layer because there's more snow on the ground, more fresh snow on the ground. So all of this lines up to support a significant threat for freezing rain and sleet for this weekend. And light to moderate snow, we're talking about 2 to 4, 3 to 6 inch snowfall over the interior, which I'll work on for this upcoming weekend. So while all that is happening, of course, the next question is winter going to be ending anytime soon? Well, let me pull up observations. The sun has started to become increasingly more active. Okay? Now we're in a little bit of a quiet stretch right now, but you can see another sunspot is starting to develop. So we've been more active than what we were last year. But what stands out to me is what is happening in the stratosphere. This is the observations as of this morning. This is a very cold stratospheric signature. And moving forward over the next 10 days, it's only becoming colder. And in fact, when we take a look at 50 millibars under this influence, look at the polar vortex starting to consolidate. And so, when we get to the point of 500 millibars, what does that do? Again, there's a lag time, about 10 to 14 days. So what the guidance is starting to do now is take all this high latitude blocking and start to break it down. Notice the polar vortex is starting to retreat further north, and we get this zonal pattern. Now, the end of winter is going to happen in early March. I think we are still a threat for major winter storms like this until we get to the end of February. Then from March 1st through March 15th, we start to see a regression of those polar air masses, but we're still going to be a threat for winter storms, especially over the interior for snow, sleet, and freezing rain. The coast most likely will be rain, okay? I can't rule out a major winter storm at the very end of winter as a pattern change type of winter storm, but I think the best threat for widespread snowfall is going to be coming to an end by the last week of February. And after that, we slowly transition to spring with more of a Pacific influenced air mass really locking itself in by March 10th, and by March 15th, we are officially done. So that's how I see the winter ending. And partially is because of the increase in solar activity and the cooling of the stratosphere that we are now seeing. So that's where we are right now. Now I figure I'll take your questions now that I broke all that down. And hopefully you guys, if you guys have any questions or anything, just let me know. And away we go. So hopefully that solves the issues. Or not, I'm not sure. Let me make sure. Okay, make sure. Okay, so we got, this is called weathermiles.com. So it's a website that I love using. Right? I spend about $100 a month for a lot of the data. It's really good stuff. Let's see here. How much ice and what is the timing? Don't know. The timing looks like between 10 p.m. Saturday and going until about noon on Sunday. As far as the amount of ice, I've seen preliminary aspects up to about a quarter to a half an inch of ice possible, but I want to wait and work that out as we go along. Why are you drawing the line through my actual street? I did it on purpose because I know where you live. No, I don't. That'd be freaky. Been following you for years. Thank you. Thank you very much, Arnold. I appreciate it. Thank you. What's the timing for the event tomorrow? The timing for the event tomorrow is going to be basically from about 11 o'clock tonight through about noon tomorrow. Okay? By that point, then we start to taper off and just have a few snow showers, not anything too significant. But that's where the bulk of your snowfall is going to be focused on. You are very reliable. I try. I appreciate it. It's my wife that keeps me sane. That's what does it. Oh, wow. That's cool.
Mm-hmm.
Any chance of 5 inches on Southern Long Island? For when? Tomorrow or for the next storm? Glenn. Yeah, see, hon, look.
Yes.
I was able to use the YouTube chat.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Yes, I know. I retweeted the Twitter thing and I shared it on Facebook.
Ah, thanks, babe.
Can't guarantee anybody will actually.
So if you're talking about for the storm tomorrow, no, I don't think. Based on the observations I'm seeing, I'll answer Robert's questions on this as well. You see this right here? This tells me that there's a cap as far as how far north that this can go. Okay? And let me pull this up. That way I can keep on reading your questions. All right. So when I look at that, and then I look at this signature right here, and I'll tell you what. Let me put this up here. There it is. Okay. This storm is only going to go as far north as the thermal gradient that you have set up here. So you see how it's kind of packed like this? What you want to see is how far north does this vertical packing get? And I'd cut it off to about here. So when you see that here, up to this point, then you know your best forcing is going to be basically driven into this area here. And that is supported by what you're seeing here with the cooling cloud tops here. So remember, cooling cloud tops means that you're having rapidly rising air. So you can literally see where your air is rising. Essentially percolating. So as a result, this is where you get your heavier snowfall. Let's see here. Great question, guys. I'm really looking. This is outstanding. Wow, a lot of people too. Okay, so we get this every week. Best $30 of the year. Thank you very much, Jeff. Any chance this system moves north tonight? You already answered that. Nope. I think we're good. Premium is only $30 a year. No, it's $30. It's $30 for the season. It's $80 for the year. Sorry, late to the stream. Did you discuss next Tuesday storm, or is that too far out? Next week has me very intrigued. because it is a factor of a combination of some phasing between the polar and subtropical jet streams. It's a little wonky with the way that it has a high latitude blocking. Of all the storms that seem to be, of all the models that seem to be handling this threat the most realistically, is the Icon, which is a German model, which is really unsettling. Because normally I don't use the Icon to forecast for, but I look at it, just to kind of get an idea. In fact, let me show you what the Icon is doing here. Let's see here. Reset, model, Icon. Now, this is not a guarantee. Okay, I'm not saying this is what I would expect, but if I can find it here. Here we go. Okay, so what the Icon does, and it's going to take me a second to load this. Let me pull up 12Z. Whenever you're looking at model guidance, always use the on hour, not the off hour. On hour is 0Z and 12Z. 0Z stands for 7 p.m. 12Z stands for 7 a.m. That's when you get all your observations. Excuse me. Okay, so the model guidance brings one storm up, and then here we are for Tuesday. Now notice, but look at that ridge. Look at that high pressure system. When you have a high pressure system like this, that's going to support some very strong cold air damming, and that is an Arctic air mass at that. And so it produces this low pressure system. So as a result, it keeps the cold air locked in for the most part. Which in turn leads to the potential for a major winter storm. Which you could see right here, it could actually lead to a heck of a mess. So we're too far out to get into the details, and here's why. Why the Icon is doing what it's doing, and the GFS and the European guidance is doing what it's doing. Each storm feeds into itself. So this is why we're seeing the adjustment north of the storm for tonight. Because the storm from yesterday, which produced the snowfall over the interior, caused an alignment and adjustment with the mid-level temperatures. So that allowed me to adjust the forecast northward. So the ice storm that we're potentially going to have on Saturday night into Sunday, which is right here, will have an influence on the entire atmospheric setup for the middle of next week, which is what we get here. Now, if you end up in this situation here with this high pressure system and you have an Arctic air mass, it's going to be real hard to route that cold air out. And so this rain here might actually be ice, and this ice here might actually be sleet, and you're talking about a very heavy snowfall over the interior. Not to mention the fact that if you have this sustained cold boundary layer set up, you might end up with a stronger cold air damming and force this low pressure system out here more. And that's part of the things that we're starting to see in the ensemble guidance. So these factors means that you cannot trust the details this far out for this storm. What I can say with confidence is that yes, there's another storm potential. We'll work out the details, but remember, each storm influences the next, and that's why I've been kind of short with the forecast maps, because I haven't had the time to do what I normally do, which is issue a preliminary 4 or 5 days out, then issue more details when I get to 3 days out, and then go public 2 days out, and then have a final update 1 day before the storm. This time I've been kind of rushed because one storm's following after the other, and each one following that is influencing the next. So you have to kind of be on your toes look at the entire observations that are coming in, how much is the atmosphere cooling overnight? How does that impact the pressure field? How does that impact the potential for cold air damming? And therefore, how does that impact your low pressure system tracks? And are they intensifying or are they weakening? So these are all factors that I'm literally trying to adjust on the fly while these storms are all coming in. Major winter storm in Texas coming here Tuesday. Yeah, the storm in Texas is what's going to be reaching here on Tuesday. How much do you think Ocean County and Central New Jersey will get for tomorrow? Well, that's simple. Let's go here. If you're in Northern Ocean, probably about around 2-3 inches. Southern Ocean, probably around 3-4 inches. Extreme Southern Ocean, probably around 5. An isolated location may reach 6 inches. Let me go here. Let's see. What chances do you see for a 12-inch storm in New York City area over the next 5 to 7 days? I think your best potential for that is going to be on Tuesday, Wednesday, but I'm kind of 40-60 on that right now. Steve, do you think with the storms beyond this weekend, Lil Hiccup are really going to be bullish with warm air coming from the south? Well, what the models are trying to do is build up that warm air via the southeast ridge based on what's happening with the MJO. I think it's overdoing it just a tad, and it's underestimating the Arctic air. So I'm trying to make adjustments based on that. So, for example, in today's 7-day forecast, the model guidance was going into the mid-50s for that little storm. Now, let's see here. Let's pull up the little charts. Well, actually, I haven't checked, so let's do this on the fly. New York City is now 37-39. You want to see something cool? Take a look at the data I was working with this morning. 49 for Tuesday. Now it's 10 degrees colder, 37. Want another one? How about Atlantic City? Let's do Atlantic City. Let's see what crazy nonsense that did. Okay, so right now it's doing 53. It was 58 this morning. Now it's down to 53. What does that tell me? It tells me that the model guidance is trying to adjust to the Arctic air mass. And so we already seen a 5-degree drop from one model suite to the next. Don't be surprised. I went into the 40s. I dropped it into the mid-40s because I'm like, this is way too warm for this storm. So sometimes when you look at this data, you have to kind of call BS and say, okay, based on the air mass I'm dealing with and the pattern I'm dealing with, this is unlikely. But once I start getting into my zonal pattern that I was talking about, then you could see this more likely. So what this also tells me is that I'm going to be dealing with a hell of a gradient coming up for this upcoming storm. So it's going to be a real challenge. Do you think the models are interpreting the storm itself as the actual warm air? Well, the whole storm evolution is all about finding a balance in the atmosphere and that warm air trying to invade the cold air in order to balance out the atmosphere. So in a way, I guess you could call it one big isotropic warming event. But on the other hand, it's also driven by the shortwaves that are interacting on the Arctic boundary. Do you see any icing threat for the Poconos over the weekend? Not at this time, but it's something I'm watching very carefully. The Poconos and the Catskills for this event are both very much into the deep cold air, so you might deal more like with snow, sleet, rather than pure sleet and freezing rain, like what I'm worried about on the I-95 corridor. Steve, do you feel that the lack of data, airplanes? Okay, let me tackle this because this is kind of like a story that's been going around the internet about a lack of planes. Probably if we were in the early 2000s and 90s, the reduction of plane flights would have been a huge deal. Okay? Now, not so much. Okay, first of all, even back in the 90s and 2000s, you had your soundings being issued by the National Weather Service at various offices. You had some satellite data, and you had radar data, and you had all sorts of data. Now, majority of these models, like the European guidance, the GFS now with the FV3 core, it actually takes a lot of data from the actual satellite data. See this right here. You see, when you're taking a look at all of these different types of satellite, channels, like let's say air mass, these visibles, the veggie, snow ice, which in this case doesn't show up very well. It's probably a dumb thing. Okay, water vapor at various levels, the upper level. That's all raw data that is taken and put into the model guidance. We actually have more model data now than we ever had. And believe me, it's not just the aviation flights. You know how you get all your stuff from Amazon and eBay or whatever, right? Well, those are all plane flights too, and all those flights are taking data in. So we're not really having a lack of data. The reason why we're seeing a lack of consistency in the models is because of chaos, all right? What we're seeing here is a limitation of our science, not the limitation of data. Now look, I am always one to get as much data as you could possibly get for your model guidance, okay? But I'm not going to use that as an excuse if I have a bad forecast. The reason why that the model guidance is all over the place is because you're dealing with a very, very volatile pattern where we've essentially shattered the polar vortex. So essentially what we did back in January is take the polar vortex, which was a ball of glass, let's say, and you took a sledgehammer and broke that ball into a billion different pieces. And they all went all over the place. And now you have to forecast where each one of those pieces end up. And that is why we're having so much volatility. Top New Jersey snowfall total for tomorrow. I would not be surprised somewhere to the south of Atlantic City. Wildwood, 5.5 inches. Wildwood, 5.5 inches would not surprise me. Hey, Steve. So this is a question from Evan. Off topic, but I have a flight to Tampa at 2 p.m. Saturday. Do you expect any delays? Yep. Also, I would get a brief forecast for the upcoming week of Tampa. It's going to be nice and warm. Watch out for thunderstorms in the afternoon. I mean, you're going to Tampa. All of us are going to be freezing our butts off, so I'm not going to feel too bad if you're dealing with a thunderstorm or two. Lloyd, maybe off topic, 2 off topic questions in a row. There we go. But can you show me on the maps how to identify confluence? I believe confluences is a part of why this storm is taking the track it is, and I struggle to see this. Okay, so let's go to mid-level. Now, oops, let me go here. Now, this is the water vapor satellite picture. And the reason why I like using the water vapor satellite pictures, I could see areas of convergence and confluence. Now remember, confluence is sinking air. So what I want to look for is areas where I'm seeing winds come together. Now it might be difficult to find that on a satellite picture. That takes a while to learn how to do. So let's take a look at 300 millibars. We'll zoom out. And what you want to look for are areas where wind or air is coming together. Voila. Here you go. Here's confluence. Another area of confluence right up here. So what you're looking for is where air is coming together and then forced to sink. So in this case, let's see here, maybe 500 millibars even show up even better. In fact, You know what? Let's look for it on a model guidance. That'll show up even better for you to see. Let's see here. So let's find the confluence. Well, here you go. You see how this is packing? When you see the height lines packing like this, this is a signal of confluence and convergence in the atmosphere. When you're seeing things spread apart like this is divergence. So this is divergence right here, convergence here. Over here, you have convergence. And over here, you have divergence, like I said. Over here, you have divergence spreading apart. Over here, you have convergence. So you see how things kind of spread apart and come together? That's the key. Sometimes it's very hard to see. You have to really study how the winds are moving in the atmosphere. So in terms of the track itself, that's more complicated. Let me pull up PVA. So in this situation, for our storm, notice that this short wave is coming into this area of convergence and confluence. Again, the height lines are packed, right? So as a result, when it's coming into this environment, it doesn't have a chance to grow. You're suffocating it, okay? Whereas in this situation right here, down towards the southern plains, you see how this PVA is kind of becoming enhanced? Why is it becoming enhanced along the Gulf Coast? Because you have divergence and diffluence. You're able to expand, okay? The atmosphere is spreading apart, and so as a result, in order to balance out that mass differential, the air rapidly rises. When you have convergence, like up here, the air's coming together, and so the air, in order to create a balance, must sink to alleviate that extra air mass. And that is basically your convergence and confluence. I hope I explained that. It's a really, really basic analysis, but that's kind of what we have time for now. I mean, I can go hours on that. In fact, you can in school, college. How confident are you in the north trend for tomorrow? I'm confident based on the observations I'm seeing. I like where the forecast is. I wouldn't go any further north. Let's see. Getting ready to send out an email to my staff and patients. We are directly on the line 1 to 3, 3 to 6. So about 3 inches you could expect. I don't expect it pushing any further north. In fact, based on everything I'm seeing with the frontogenesis and the moisture gradient, I'm pretty confident that the bulk of this snowfall will be around Atlantic City and points south. But I really like that 3 inches, like around Philadelphia, Monmouth County, Ocean County. I like that. I like that area right there. Thanks so much for the thorough answer. You got a new page. Oh, thank you. Thank you very much. I really appreciate it. It's great to listen to someone that knows what they're talking about. Well, I try. Every time my ego gets up, I make sure that my wife, puts me in check. Right, hon?
Yes, dear.
Yeah, there you go. It's too bad you don't extend your zones and knowledge all the way through New England. I've had that request for everywhere from down to Washington, D.C. up to New England. This is why I don't. I could, but then my focus would be so spread that my forecast, I think, would hurt for it. Okay? So I try to focus on the northern Mid-Atlantic. And quite frankly, I'm kind of living my dream here. I grew up here in Freehold, New Jersey. And I used to forecast from my middle school and high school. And now I get to do it, and I get paid for it. It's like crazy, right? So with that, it's kind of cool to be able to pull that off, and it's a lot of fun. Steve, it is great if you're not a paid subscriber. I highly suggest it. Been one for years. Thank you, Melissa. I really appreciate it. Looks like we have a non-exista. I don't know what that is. Okay. Let's see here. Couldn't agree more, Melissa. Thank you. Okay. You know you're doing something right when you have the other local guys hating on your forecast. You've been spot on for the past few storms. Thanks for the free live stream tonight. No problem, Kurt. Look, if you're not hated, then maybe you're doing something wrong. So I guess I appreciate. Here's the thing. I get some people who ask me, well, so-and-so is doing this in their forecast. What do you think? And I stay away from that because it just leads to drama. Why other people trying to question my forecasting, I don't know. It's weird to me because I spend more than enough time on my own forecast. I don't have time to figure out what somebody else is thinking. Now, that doesn't mean I don't read other people's forecasts. Like the National Weather Service, I read their forecast discussion all the time. Why? Because I'm not perfect. I might miss something. Maybe there's a piece of data that I missed. Or maybe I should look at a model that they're suggesting that they're using. And maybe I was so tunneled into one particular point of view that I didn't consider another point of view and need to stop and rethink everything, right? So I'm always reading other people's forecasts, whether it's climate or it's the long range forecast or what, okay? I'm always taking that in because there's always going to be a good chance that I miss something. And so I want to incorporate that. So I'm always looking at that type of stuff. But for me to run around and break down and question other people's forecasting or what they do, I always say, if you have a question about someone else's forecast, you should ask them politely. Because it's not fair for me to break down or question someone else's forecast, especially if they're not around to defend it. Because I'm on a good streak. Don't get me wrong, I'm on a good streak, thank God. But eventually I'm going to trip up. It's a lot like baseball, okay? Where like you get your hitter, he's like hitting home run after home run, he's hitting 10 home runs, and then he goes on a 1 for 25 streak. Right? It's kind of like that, right? Where you're locked into understanding what's happening in the atmosphere and you're rolling around, you're getting it done, and then one day you take a day off and you decide to just kind of, okay, it's a quiet spring pattern, I'm going to relax, and then another winter storm pattern comes and you are completely lost. That happens. And every forecaster has that happen to them. What happened to all the cold air that was supposed to come? Have you not been outside? It's cold. If you don't believe me, are you the guy? Wait, hold it. Aaron, are you the guy that wears shorts in the middle of winter? I need to know. Because it is cold outside. I mean, I was waiting for the bus this morning because I'm going into the city. It's cold. I mean, all right, so it's not like 5 below cold, unless you go up towards, Hudson River Valley. But it's cold outside. The cold air is here. I mean, the focus is in the plains, which, by the way, is based on the winter forecast, dead on perfect. But overall, the cold air is here. Tuesday, all snow in New York City possible. It's possible. Can't rule it out. Don't know yet. Enough about the plains. Every week about the plains. Agreed. It's the planes. The plane. Is it really limitation of the science or limitation of computer capacity? Probably a little bit of both. I mean, we have been improving our computer capacity quite a bit. And there's a lot that's still being worked on and improving every day. I mean, where we are now compared to where we were 5 years ago is like light years, right? But it's both. I mean, guys, this is dealing with chaos. You know that part in Jurassic Park where the guy's talking about dropping the water and then trying to figure out where it's going? That's what we're doing every day. It seems easy You pull it up on your phone, there's your 5-day forecast, which most likely to be wrong. But there it is, right? The advancement from that point to where we were just 30 years ago is mind-blowing. It's mind-blowing, you know? So there's always room for improvement. Always. Always. And it always will be. And don't let anyone tell you that automation is the future. Because let me tell you something. All you need is one bad data point, and that automated forecast is going to go straight to hell. Can the 12Z NAM model change your forecast for tomorrow? I never ever like to use a... Well, first of all, by the time the 12Z comes out, half the storm's done. So it's like, well, that happened. So with that, one second, I just got a message from my tech guy. Let me take that. Yeah, YouTube. Okay. So, no. The short answer is no. But my overall theme is that as a meteorologist, I expect to have a forecast. Oh, the 0Z. Okay, the 0Z. Still no. Because I got the observations right here. I see the storm right here. Here it is. Boom. And model guidance has a poor history of causing havoc, you know, with your forecast. How many times, just the past storm, where the National Weather Service was changing their forecast in the middle of the storm and then had to change it back again. If you have a forecast idea, go with it. And then follow the observations. And if the observations change, where like you're expecting 34 and it ends up being 44, that's different. But if you're going to do it just because the model said so, well, what are the observations that would suggest that? That's what you do. Besides, it only leads to confusion. Okay, so that was an amazing discussion on convergence, confluence, etc. So helpful. Thank you, Lloyd. If you feel like one more question on this, what is the difference between confluence and convergence? Okay. Convergence is where air is coming together. Okay, in fact, here, hold it. In fact, I've got a convergence and confluence. Aha. I got a great website. Okay. I want to use, here we go. So, National Weather Service does a great job with a lot of these definitions. So let's walk it through. A pattern of wind flow in which air flows inward towards an axis parallel to the general direction of flow. It is the opposite of difluence. Confluence is not the same as convergence. Winds often accelerate as they enter a confluent zone, resulting in speed divergence, which offsets the apparent confluent effect. So, what do you think that means? I want you to visualize it. And here is a great example of convergence and confluence. Convergence is like you're on the LIE and you have some idiot that decided to stop for no apparent reason. They decide they dropped their sub and they stop and they're waiting to get the food. And so you have to stop real fast. So you're moving fast and then you have to stop short. Convergence. Hopefully not into his trunk. Convergence, or should I say confluence, is where you're on the LIE and you have 3 lanes. And one guy on the far lane and you on the other lane both try getting into the center lane. That is confluence. Now, divergence is where one guy out ahead of you, because you're going 30 miles per hour, is speeding out ahead of you at 50 miles per hour and expanding the distance between you two. Divergence is where 2 cars are in the same lane and they split apart to the far lanes. See? So it's kind of like a traffic pattern. It's an atmospheric traffic pattern. Let's see here. Do you think northwestern Burlington County or Philly area are going to get a major snowstorm this winter? Well, they kind of got some snow, but you want the big one, right? 1 to 2 feet. You got a chance through the end of this month. I can't guarantee it, but you got a shot. You're in the running. Let's see here. The last storm only accumulated 1 slushy inch and managed. Are you south of Philadelphia? I bet you're south of Philadelphia. Or wait a minute. Do you mean the one that we just had, the one this week? Do you think this was due to being between bands or due to the heat island? You got okay. I'm assuming you're talking about the one we just had the day before. What happened was the frontogenesis, the lifting, was focused a little bit further north, and so you missed out on that. You should let the public in on these chats. You will gain more paid subscribers. You know, it's a thought that I might do like once a month. This was kind of forced. It's like, oh shit, it doesn't work. Okay, let's adjust. It's an idea that I might do. And I'm trying to keep up with all the questions. This is amazing.
I'm stalking along as well.
It's cold, but I was seeing on the Euro last week wind chills below 0. Yeah, it was still below 0. It was cold. It's cold out, man. It's cold. It's cold. I'm ready for spring. They're already talking about baseball. I'm like getting ready, like, all right, get ready for the Mets. Watch some spring training baseball, but nope, I got winter storms to forecast for. This is the hardest part of the year for a meteorologist because you're all gung-ho for winter storms in December. You got the Christmas music going or Hanukkah, whatever, and you have everything decorated and you're ready to go. In January, you're still going because, you got the snow coming in, and even early February, you're excited. But by the time you get to mid-February, that's when your mind's like going like, I do not want to deal with these winter storms anymore. And then when you get to March and April, you start to notice your local meteorologist kind of has a scowl on his face or her face. It's because we're tired of this stuff. And then the snow maps all show up. Everyone's going to put up a snow map. And then they all get annoyed because the snow map didn't work out. Why? Because they didn't take into account of the boundary layer factors that the models never take into account of in March. And so instead of 3 inches of snow or 6 inches of snow, you get 1 inch of snow because nothing sticks. It's snowing outside and nothing sticks. So this time of year on through April, we don't want to see any more snowstorms. Either is going to be 20 degrees and snowing or nothing should happen. That's how a meteorologist feels by this point. Let's see here. Oh, we got more questions.
Yep.
Oh boy.
Coffee?
Nah, I'm thinking good.
All right.
Thanks. All right. It's cold. Let's see here. Observations at this point will be the only way you change the forecast, correct? Yeah, pretty much. That's kind of like what I've always lived and died with since college, really. I was kind of unique in that respect because a lot of the guys who I work with were like, well, Steven, look at this model, look at that model, the RAP model, this model, the NGM model, which if you Google that, that's like old school, okay? But my forecasting philosophy is that the storm's right there. What's going on? That's all. What's going on with the storm? There it is. It's right there. Let's take a look at the observations. Pretty good snowfall, light to moderate. I'm not seeing too many heavy bursts. Plenty of cold temperatures. You can see your wet bulb. Let me pull that up. Surface wet bulb. And we'll go to the northeast sector. And again, you can see plenty of cold air here. So when the precipitation starts, everyone's going to be below freezing. Thank you so much for explaining all that. Really great. No problem. What's the start time looking for the event on Saturday around Philadelphia Metro? Basically, what we're looking at is... Honestly, I'm not sure yet. I would say that probably the afternoon, but I'm not sure exactly when. It's too far out still, but I'm going to be working on that over the next 48 hours. Hey Steve, where exactly are the jet streams located? Are they between the Hadley and Ferrel cells or just on top of them? Ooh, that is a long discussion. Oh boy, let me see here. Well, see, here's the thing. Jet streams are found at every level of the atmosphere. So you have low-level jet streams. For example, when you have strong winds in between buildings, that's a jet stream. The 850 millibar jet, that's a jet stream. Now, the higher jet streams, they are typically influenced by the Hadley and the Ferrel cells. Those cells are basically intertwined within the jet stream circulation. It's like a big moving clock, right? And so those two circulations are in between the mid-latitude circulation, but they also intertwine within them. So it's not a simple thing as one's on top of the other and then it controls this and that. They all intertwine within each other. So I'm trying to figure out how to explain this correctly. This is why I have so much respect for professors. That if I was going to tackle this question, I'd probably have more of a well-defined description and illustration. But let's pull up the Hadley cell, shall we? And perfect. See if I can. Okay. Well, it's not perfect, but it'll do. I'm just trying to get a... So, there we go. No, I don't want to pull that up. See, normally what I would do is just get... Alright, this will do. Okay, this will do. What we're seeing here is that within these cells is where you have your jet streams. And where these cells clash is where you get the start of your storms. So, as you can see with your cells here, they expand and contract. But within these cells, you have your jet streams and your upper level lows and your mid-level lows. So it's not a factor of whether one is layered on top of the other. It's kind of like they're all intertwined and they're all interacting together. Okay? I hope I explained that well, but it's not a one and done thing. It's not a separate entity. They're all working together. They all intertwine together. Let's see here. Wow, I got a lot of questions here. Let's see here. Okay, there's a jet stream. Did you see the National Weather Service forecast for less than an inch in Atlantic City near the coast? I did. I'm already getting caught in that question. I like my forecast. That's what I'll say. I understand the concern for mixing based on these observations here. I get it. I get why you would want to do that. But when I see the wet bulb temperature, I'm like, man, I'd probably want to go colder than just an inch if I'm having all that precipitation. And my mid-level temperatures are cold, more than cold enough for snow. And if you want to take a look at the HRR guidance, let's zoom in on that. And you can see you might get a little bit of mixing down towards Cape May, but even that gets a nice little burst of snow, heavy snow at that. So when I'm looking at this, look at the vertical velocities here. Let's see if we can show that track. That didn't show up very well. Let's see here. Maybe the NAM. Maybe the NAM might give me a little bit better data here. Although I don't like using the... So one of the things I'm trying to do, okay, why would they go with that forecast? Well, it wouldn't be with the NAM guidance. There's plenty of cold air there. So let's try to figure that out together. Let's look and see what they did here. Again, we'll try the vertical velocities here. Not anything all that impressive. Well, I got an idea. Let's see if we could pull up the sounding eventually. Ah, there we go. Okay. So the sounding, this is pretty close to Atlantic City. Let's see here. Now, the way to read this is that this line here is your freezing line in the atmosphere. So if this green and red line, which is your temperature and your dew point, crosses this line here, that means it's above freezing. So in this situation, this is from the 18Z guidance, 17 hours out. See, even the 18 hours out, I'm not seeing anything that would suggest that this is warming all that much. So yeah, I'm kind of stumped. I'm not sure. I like my forecast, okay, that much. Steve, what do you think about Cape May County for the event tonight and tomorrow? I know it is a 4 to 8 inch zone, but 850 millibar temperatures are a little high and surface temperatures look a little high. Okay, so Cape May County, okay, I think let's split it between the northern portion and then the peninsula, right? So here, let me zoom in here. So let's say from about, let's use, let's say from about the wildlife management to Strathmere, right around there. Right, basically cutting right through the Cape May National Refuge. Those areas, I think we're going to see a little bit more sleet, mixed in, so you're going to be more likely around 4 inches. But I think like towards the Belpan State Park, say Cumberland. Then as you head up towards Millville, and as you head up towards Ocean City, all those areas, I think that's where you're more likely to get over 4 inches and get it closer to, obviously over 4 inches, get it over 6 inches in those areas. So the further south you go, the more likely you're going to be around that 4-inch mark rather than the 8-inch mark. Let's see. As always, this was great. Going to have a premium chat prior to the event this weekend. Yeah, I mean, if things start looking icy, yeah, probably Saturday night we'll probably have it. Well, let me think here. God, Jesus, days are all going into one.
It's Wednesday.
It's Wednesday, so, but Friday's pizza night. If it's looking bad where we're talking about like a half an inch ice or something, I'm going to have to do something for Friday night. But I'll only do it for like an hour. Hopefully by then the chat will be all fixed and we'll go from there. So I'll play it by ear and we'll go from there. But I'm probably going to be having pizza while doing it. Yeah, sounding Steven spent 10 minutes with me in that last chat. Yep. As much as I like our smaller chats, hopefully more people will join. Yeah, that'd be pretty cool. Well, we're at 8:30. I have rolled this on through and gone a little bit beyond what I normally do based on this. Thank you, everyone, for joining in. I really appreciate it. If you guys enjoy the public chat, maybe we might do this once a month, public chat version. Okay, we'll see. I have to play it by ear. 2 to 5 inches per National Weather Service South Shore, Long Island. I like 1 to 3. I think 5 inches is really pushing it. I really do. But we'll see. That's the thing about meteorology. You know, you have an idea, and then you're going to find out whether you're right or wrong pretty quickly, right? So you don't have to wait years for your theory to work out in just a couple hours. So we're going to find out exactly how much snow everyone's going to get. But I like what the going forecast I have right now. We'll see how it works out. So that's it for tonight. I'm going to chill out, relax, and we'll see how everyone works out for tomorrow. Have a wonderful night, and as always, stay safe out there.